to the Vera show where testimony, reality and truth meet you at the front door. Perspective to propose. Politics, religion, we talk about the real world we live in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it on the Vera show. From purpose, uplift, encourage, inspire, motivate, and let's talk about it on the Vera show. The Vera show.
I am thrilled to announce the upcoming release of Maternal Pillars, a new anthology led by Dr. Sandra E. Jackson. This project brings together 22 esteemed co-authors and the visionary's story to explore the profound impact our mothers have had on our lives, careers, and character. Understanding our roots is essential to growing our future. We invite you to dive into these moving narratives and join us in honoring the women who stood as our first foundations. Will you help? Reaching 100 copies before launch day is our goal. Mark your calendars. The official launch is April 25th. Be one of the first to read it. Get a few copies to help us achieve our goal of reaching 100 copies. Mother's Day is quickly approaching. Grab a copy today and you will not be disappointed.
Hi, I am so excited about the Maternal Pillars anthology. My mother was an icon in Canton, Ohio. She was a promoter of gospel singers, Shirley Caesar, the Staple Singers, Jackson Southerners, and among others that I mentioned in the book. She also was the first to have her own radio show in Canton. And I want to just share the love that she had, the faith that she had, the joy that she had. She was a wonderful person. She died too soon at the age of 43, but she lived a full life within those 43 years. So check out the book and pre-order your copy today. Thank you, Dr. Jackson, for including me in this anthology. And I'm telling you, this book is well worth you pre-ordering today.
Hello, hello, hello. Well, I do not have a guest tonight, but that's okay, because I just want to talk to you about some of the things that I am doing. And of course, I just mentioned about the book, and I just want to say the Maternal Pillars, this book is amazing. And one of the things that I put in my book, and we're going to kind of talk about forgiveness and the importance of doing that. When my mother died, I felt alone. I felt like there was no one there for me. And as a result, I left. Her funeral was on a Saturday, and that Monday, my best friend and I took off looking for my biological father. What I failed to realize in my own grief was that I had 3 younger siblings that were grieving as well. And I didn't think about that. I was thinking about how I felt. So I left them. That decision resulted in unspoken resentments that I didn't understand. And it wasn't until I was in the process of co-writing another book that it hit me like a ton of bricks what I had done. And at that point, I had to ask for forgiveness because I had no idea the impact until later, the impact that that decision had. I had no idea until later. And I had to ask forgiveness. And I thank God that I had the opportunity to ask for forgiveness and also to forgive before all 3 of my siblings passed away. Just recently, my brother, he passed on December 20th, 2025. And I had the opportunity to spend time with him in August of 2025. We had the best time we've ever had. We were able to cry together, laugh together, forgive each other, and just had a wonderful, wonderful time. Forgiveness is so important. And I'm going to share a video regarding forgiveness, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Today, we're just going to talk about the things that I am doing. And hopefully, as a result of our conversation, you will want to be involved in some of the things that I'm doing. But in the meantime, let me share this video regarding forgiveness.
Forgiveness is a powerful tool for personal growth, allowing us to let go of resentment and move forward. The key to inner peace and emotional well-being. Apologies and forgiveness go hand in hand, creating space for healing and reconciliation. Inner work and willingness are essential in the process of forgiveness, requiring us to confront our own emotions and vulnerabilities. Taking a broader perspective on actions helps us understand the complexities of human nature and the impact of forgiveness on relationships. The journey of self-discovery is intertwined with forgiveness, leading us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. Follow Divine Marketing Pro for more personal growth.
Unforgiveness can result in all kinds of issues, headaches, distress. Unforgiveness, as a matter of fact, studies show that a lot of autoimmune problems can stem from unforgiveness. One of the other ramifications of unforgiveness is heart issues. When we cannot forgive, it is a weight. And I can honestly say, by forgiving my brother, and asking for forgiveness, it was like a sense of freedom. It was so freeing to be able to let go of hurt, let go of pain, let go of resentment, let go of those things that keep us from moving forward, or those things that allow us to just constantly think about the past and what has happened in the past. What has happened in the past is in the past, is gone, is done. There's nothing more we can do about it. So we need to let it go. We need to also forgive ourselves for things that we may have done, either to ourselves or to each other. Forgiveness is key. If you want to have a healthier life, if you want to have a more free sense of freedom, if you want to be able to love on yourself and love on others, forgiveness is key. Forgiveness is key. So I just want to talk about why we need to forgive. I've already indicated it is just such a freeing experience. So if you are holding some negative thoughts or resentments or hurts because of other people or because of things that you may have done yourself, then I want to encourage you to forgive. Now, our church went through a forgiveness training called the bait of Satan. And the bait of Satan is when we offend or when we are offended. So I was able to use that process in forgiving. And one of the questions that you may ask is, what did I do to you to cause you to feel this way about me? If you don't know what you did, then that's the question you need to ask. And then if you get a response, address it. If you don't get a response, then you can also say, I don't know what I did, but whatever I did, I ask your forgiveness. And I want you to know that I forgive you as well. And it's a process. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It may take some time, but forgiveness is critical. And if Jesus was able to forgive us, then who are we to not forgive others and not to forgive ourselves? Think about it. One of the other things that I have going on is a 1-day or 5-day challenge. This is a free challenge for parents of children 12 years and younger. Now, we know there are some great parents out there, and I'm not trying to suggest that I need to only talk to parents that may have some concerns. If you are a great parent, but you want to unlock your legacy of greatness within your children and within yourself, let's do a 5-day one-on-one parenting challenge to talk about some things that may be of concern to you, maybe some things that you want to get off your chest, maybe some things that you want to have more insight on. Then do the 5-day challenge. Now, you can schedule the 5-day challenge by going to bit.ly/Vera Thomas. And the very first link is a link to schedule a time to meet with me. Let's talk and let's identify whether or not this challenge is something that you want to do. Speaking of challenges, and also the fact that I am a certified life coach through ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation, and plus my experience and education as far as trainings and all the things that I've gone through, even with my own experiences, and I have an under degree in psychology, and my master's is in organizational management, which has enabled me to not only work with parents, but I also work with companies and organizations. But right now, my main focus, my primary focus is to work with parents, because that is the direction that I believe the Lord wants me to go. And so I have this 5-day challenge that I would like for you to consider. So since we're talking about kids, I want to kind of share some things that may help in terms of building up and instilling greatness, not only in our children, but in ourselves. So as you're dealing with your children, be attentive. Be attentive. When your child speaks to you, give them that undivided attention. Give them that eye contact. Put your phone down and talk to your child. Let them know that they're just as important as that telephone call that you had. Or if you're on social media, put it down and give your child that full attention, that eye contact. Sit across from them and have that one-on-one conversation. If they're younger and smaller, kneel down to where they are so that you have that eye-to-eye contact. Praise your children. And I know people hear this all the time. Praise your children. Give them praise for tasks they do. And let them know how proud you are of them. One of the questions that I often ask in trainings is, what do you wish you had been told as a child? The answers that I get, things like, I wish I was told I love you. I wish I was told I'm proud of you. I wish I had been told you're doing a good job. There are so many adults that never had that kind of affirmation themselves, and many of them may be parents. So think about it. 60%, and I know you've heard me say this before, 60% of adults who have unresolved issues, those issues stem from their childhood. And now they are parents, and they may not have overcome their own trauma, drama, or experiences that they may have had as a child. And so think about the things that you did not get and give it to your child. So praise them. And when they make a mistake, don't yell at them. Try to understand and help them understand make it a learning experience. Let them learn through the mistakes by asking them questions. So how did you feel when you did that? What made you do that? How could this have been different? What could we have done better? If you're constantly hard on yourself and putting yourself down or being pessimistic about you or your children will see that, and they will gravitate towards whatever they see coming from you. So if they see you constantly beating yourself up, constantly saying what you cannot do, constantly feeling bad about who you are, if your kids see that, they're going to pick up on that, and they may well start doing it to themselves. So think about that. Are you praising yourself? Are you affirming yourself? Are your children seeing you affirm yourself as you affirm your children as well? And tune into your children's feelings. You know, there are various types of parental styles. One of them is the permissive parent. Now, the permissive parent is the parent that wants to be their child's friend, and they don't want to do anything to rock the boat. And many times they don't have boundaries for their children. So their children are just kind of doing their own thing. Well, that's not necessarily good. What that can cause, it can cause a child to be antisocial. It can cause a child to not respect authority. It can cause a child to not feel like they have to adhere to boundaries. So a permissive parent is doing an injustice to themselves and their children. And then we have the neglectful parent. Now, the neglectful parent may be a very good person, may be a community leader, may be involved in all kinds of things. And they're so involved in so many other things that their children are kind of just going their own way. Neglectful parents can really wreak havoc on a child in that they may lack self-esteem and confidence. They may start looking for affirmations and affirming of themselves through other people and gangs and things of that nature, because they're not feeling the love coming from home, so they're looking elsewhere for it. And then you got the authoritarian parent. And this is a parent that says, do as I say, and because I said so. When parents are authoritative, and most of us were raised, especially in my generation, we were raised with authoritarian parents where we weren't really able to speak. In fact, you heard children are to be seen, not heard. So oftentimes that child may have become introverted, shy, afraid to speak out and say what they feel because they don't know how they're going to how it's going to be responded to or reacted to. And so Authoritarian parents are very rigid, and they do have rules and boundaries, and they definitely make sure you adhere to them or there are consequences. That may have been the best way back in the day, but it doesn't work today. Our children are smarter, wiser. They want to be heard as well as seen. They want to be valued and appreciated. They want to know that you love them. Oftentimes, an authoritarian parent may not even constantly say, I love you. Or they may say, well, you have food to eat, you have a place to sleep. You should know I love you. But sometimes it's nice to hear it. And one of the things I also want to encourage as I'm talking about this and thinking about this, you might want to consider doing the love language quiz for yourself and your children so that you have a better feel for the best way to communicate with your child. You may think you know. I had a client and I did the love language with the son because I had the child as my client, but also had conversations with his parents. And before I did the love quiz with the child, I asked the mother, so what do you think his love language is? And she told me what she thought it was. But after the child did the love language quiz, it was a whole different thing. What he valued most was spending time with his parents. That's what he valued most. She thought it was affirming, just constantly affirming him and telling him what a great job he was doing and all of that. He just wanted to spend more quality time with his parents. So that love language quiz can really give you some insight. And you can Google love language quiz. And it's free. And I encourage you to do it for yourself, do it with your spouse, and do it with your kids, and have your kids do it as well, and have a conversation about it. That is one of the activities that can help build cohesion in your family and in your children, build that confidence and self-esteem. One of the other things you might want to consider doing is let your child choose a fun activity for the family. Let them take turns choosing what you're going to do for the weekend or what you're going to do for a day. When children feel that you value what they think and things they want to do, it can build confidence and self-esteem unlike anything. I had a client that had 4 children. One of them loved basketball. So the father took that one child only to a baseball game. It's not basketball, baseball, to a baseball game. They traveled from one state to the other to go to a baseball game. And it was just he and his son. And they had such a wonderful time. And that was a bonding time. He had 3 other children, all of which had different interests. So he made sure that he was involved in the things that they were gravitating towards and spent that time with them doing things that they love to do. I want to encourage you, if you have more than one child, I want to encourage you to consider doing the same. If you only have the one child, do some things that they want to do, not always dragging them doing what you want to do, but give them time. One of the things with my son, I have one child, and when my son was younger, every Friday was his day. Whatever it is he wanted to do, there were times when he just wanted to stay home and watch a movie and eat popcorn. There were other times when he wanted to do some other things. So whatever it was he wanted to do on that day, that was his day. And that was his time. So I want to encourage you to choose time, quality time with each of your children, separate and apart, as well as together. And whatever you choose to do, know that you'll give it your all and do your best with it, with your child. one of the other things that I want to talk about, give your children chores and responsibility. It's amazing how many teenagers and young adults that don't know how to cook, don't know how to do their laundry, don't know how to do things that they need to know to live independent. You can start teaching those things at an early age, at a very early age. Example, at 4 years old, my son was kind of tall for his age. And at 4 years old, he was vacuuming. Now, I would walk around and pick up things that would clog up the vacuum cleaner, but I would let him at it. And he felt so proudful. He was so proud of the fact that he did something. When he was 9, he was in the kitchen with me cooking. By the time he was 12 and I was working full time and going to school, he was preparing dinner. So it not only gives your children responsibilities, but it can help relieve some of your own pressure by giving them tasks to do that you won't have to do. So give your children chores and responsibilities at home, and you can start at an early age. Even toddlers can start picking up behind themselves. Instead of you walking around picking up the little toys and the things that they've left on the floor, get them to do it. You'll be amazed at how proud they are because they did something. And they may come, Mommy, I did this. I finished. I did this. I cleaned up my room. I remember my grandchildren when I have a set of twins, and when they were 5 years old and I was over, and the older ones, they were doing something else, and I had gone upstairs and looked in the bedroom, and I said, I know what you guys can do. Why don't you surprise your older sisters and your mom and clean your room? Why don't you do that? And they did. And they came back downstairs and said, Grandma, we got it done. So I went upstairs and they had done an excellent job. And I praised them for it. Things may not be exactly the way you would have done it, but I'm telling you, give them responsibility, give them chores, and praise them for doing the work that you've assigned them to do. Or even ask them, so what chore do you want to do today? You have a choice between this, that, or the other, and let them choose, and then give them praise because they did it. Now, one of the other issues that is a major, major issue among children as well as adults is bullying. Bullying is a major, major issue. So I want to talk about some things that you can do to ensure that your child does not become a bully. First of all, establish behaviors. Make it clear that bullying behavior is not tolerated. But on the other hand, if your child sees you bullying somebody, what can you expect? So oftentimes an adult, that parent, may be a bully themselves, and your child sees that, and they're just picking up from what you do. So if you, and you admit it if you are, if you're not, I'm happy. I'm glad you're not. But if you find that there are times when you have displayed some bullying behaviors, then put yourself in check and make it clear to your child and your children that bullying is not tolerated in your household, and not even among and between the siblings. Name calling and those kinds of things. Don't allow your children to do that to each other. It's hurtful. And even though the other child may rub off like a rubbing off the duck's back, it can impact. It really can. So show love to each other. Teach your kids to love on each other and to compliment each other and to praise each other as you do the same. And let your child know that unkind actions have consequences. Unkind actions have consequences. So promote accountability. Promote accountability. It's so important. So, how are some ways that you can encourage kindness? Emphasize the importance of treating others with respect and kindness at all times. Teach your children to treat people the way that they want to be treated. And create a safe space that your child, if your child is experiencing being bullied in school or being treated poorly by other children or even by an adult, make sure that your environment is safe enough that they are willing to come and talk to you. I talked about the permissive, the neglectful, and the authoritarian parent. I want to talk a little bit about the authoritative parent. That's the parent that does listen to their child and they show genuine interest in what their children are saying and what their children are doing. And it opens up the lines of communications, and it makes your children feel, well, I can talk to my mom about anything. I can talk to my dad about anything because you created the environment that allows that to happen. One of the things that can cause it not to happen is yelling. Yelling. The first question I want to ask you where yelling is concerned. I know I'm just throwing out some things because I don't have a guest. So I'm just throwing out some things to help you think about some things. So let me ask you, how do you feel when someone yells at you? How do you feel when someone yells at you? Amplify it for a child. Amplify it for a child. Studies show. And now there are different types of yelling. I'm talking about the kind of yelling that happens when you're angry, you're frustrated, your child may have done something that was against the grain, and you yell. That kind of yelling can cause trauma. It can cause phobias. It can cause headaches, depression. It can cause anxiety. It can cause a child to become inward and shy and not express because they don't know if they're going to be yelled at or not. Yelling is detrimental. And as a matter of fact, I had a teacher tell me that she can tell the difference between children who live in an environment where there's constant yelling and children where there's not that much yelling in their home. Studies have shown that brain waves are different in children that are raised up in a yelling environment than those that are not. Yelling can be so detrimental to a child. Now, don't get it wrong. I'm not suggesting I never yelled at my child. I did. But once awareness precedes change, and once I realized the impact that yelling could have on my child, I had to figure out a way to communicate differently. So, one of the things that I learned to do was breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. Take some deep breaths in and breathe out before you get to the point of communicating by yelling. And we can tell when we're getting ready to do that because stuff starts boiling up inside of us just before we start yelling, and you know it's coming on. So breathe. Take some deep breaths. Or you might want to suggest a timeout for both of you so that you can gather and collect your thoughts and have them think about what it was that caused you to possibly want to yell. Teach yourself to speak calmly. After you breathe, then you might say, this has really upset me. I am very angry right now, but I need to be able to talk to you about what happened so that we can come to some kind of understanding. And I need you to understand what you did, which also teaches a child critical thinking. Ask your children questions so that they can come up with some solutions on their own. How could you have done this better? How could this have been different? Ask the questions instead of yelling. And another thing, you might even want to say to yourself, peace, be still. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. I'm telling you, those 3 words can give you a peace that surpasses understanding, can give you a peace in the midst of confusion, in the midst of contention. It can give you peace. So peace, be still. Some other things that you might want to consider. Regularly check in with your children about their social experiences. Talk to them. Ask them, not just how was your day, but what did you learn today? What could have been better today? Ask the questions. And this is for all, I'm talking about children. You can ask 3, 4, 5-year-olds these same questions. As long as they can talk and communicate with you, then you can do that. Effective communications includes effective listening. Listen with your whole heart. Listen without all these other distractions. Take the time to listen to your children and teach your child the importance of listening and understanding others' perspectives. Promote compromise. Encourage your child to find win-win solutions and compromise during conflicts. These things can be very helpful. And I do have in the description on my page here on YouTube, there is a link for the how to create upstanding children and prevent them from being bullies. You can get that at bit.ly Vera Thomas. So you can go to that link and pull up that particular handout. I also have one regarding psychological bullying in the workplace and the impact that has. So you might want to check that out as well. And also, I have a Facebook group called Instilling Greatness in Our Children. I would love for you to join that. And let's talk about things that you're doing that might be beneficial to other parents and can help them. So go to my Facebook page, Instilling Greatness in Your Children. And I've put the link, and I'm also going to put it in the comments so that you can go to that page and join my Facebook group. Now, one of the other things I want to talk about is I have an anthology that I had a vision for. Now, this anthology is for poets to uplift, encourage, and just be a light in this world of darkness. There's so much negative stuff that's going on. And I envision a book of poetry, an international book of poetry called Voices That Lift Us. And I am looking for poets to be a part of that particular endeavor. Voices That Lift Us. And if you are interested or you want more information, you can email me at voicesthatliftus@gmail.com. Voicesthatliftus@gmail.com. And let me put that in the chat as well. Voicesthatliftus@gmail.com. Voicesthatliftus@gmail.com. So if you are a poet or if you know poets, please have them contact me and I will send you the guidelines for it and the information that you need in order to consider being a part of this particular endeavor. One of the things that I want to do, I'm going to share a testimonial that I received from a parent after doing a particular workshop at their school for their PTA. So let me pull that up, and then we're gonna talk about some of those things as well. So let me go to that particular video. And what's going on here? Why can't I move down? Okay. Okay, I don't know what's happening here, but for some reason I can't get to my media to pull that clip. Okay, well, anyway, one of the things that we talked about was misconceived behaviors and the impact that those behaviors can have on you and your children. One of them, character attacks. Now, we are witnessing that left and right in our country right now. It's a shame, these character attacks. And the causes for it, we recognize that hurt people hurt people. Simple as that. And it's used to defend when you feel threatened by what is being said, even if what is being said is true and based on facts and evidence. People will resort to making character attacks on other people. And it just is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. And the causes, again, identified as an antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, or narcissistic personality disorder. The impact: feelings of helplessness, lack of confidence, low self-esteem, poor performance, may cause irreparable damage to a child, could ruin the reputation or credibility of an adult. The impact: persistent depressed moods, anxiety, irritability, sleep problems, eating disorders. All of these things can be as a result of character attacks. And what we can do where our children are concerned: acknowledge their positive attributes, address behaviors with facts and evidence, ask questions to help process the behavior, and help them identify positive options to replace character attack. Some other alternatives: recognize that behavior is bad. Address the behavior with facts and evidence, and admit if what is said is true or correct. And if it is, then it's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to make a difference in that. One of the ways that we can also deal with character attacks is setting boundaries, not accepting any type of personal attack. Refuse to allow people to make you feel any kind of way. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your permission." We don't have to allow what other people say to impact us. It may be hurtful, but we don't have to allow it to impact us. And don't allow your siblings to attack each other. Please, I can't impress enough how important that is. And just remember, again, no one can make you feel inferior without your permission. Now, how do we avoid conflict in this way? Rather than discussing building frustrations in a calm, respectful manner, sometimes, now let me back up. I'm sorry. Avoiding conflict altogether is another behavior that impacts on our homes, our families, our society. And it's when we, rather than discuss issues, we build up frustrations and we don't discuss, or maybe we explode rather than dealing with it right away. So we must learn to be able to deal with conflict in a calm, respectful manner. Sometimes we may have to say, I'm very uncomfortable with this, but this is something I need to express to avoid blurting it out in anger or in a hurtful way. So these are things that we can look at and begin to address. Now, I've talked about several things today, uh, and I just want to encourage you to please be a light, share love with your children and each other, and just know that we were designed with purpose, and that God wants us to be the best version of ourselves at all times when we can, at all times. And so I don't have much more that I want to talk about. Please remember the one-on-one challenge. Contact me and schedule a time for us to talk about how I might be able to help you within 5 days to address one specific issue or concern that you may have. Please go to my Facebook page, Instilling Greatness in Our Children, and you can do that at Instilling Greatness on Facebook. Facebook.com, groups Instilling Greatness. For some reason, I'm having a problem with sharing stuff. Okay, let me see if this come up now. Yes, Instilling Greatness. So please join my Facebook group. Schedule a time for us to talk about this one-on-one parenting challenge and see if there's something that I can do to enhance your experience as a parent. And don't forget about Maternal Pillars. You want to order this book, and you can do so by sending me a DM on Facebook or even on LinkedIn. So Maternal Pillars, that is an awesome book with over 20 authors, and you really want to honor mothers this Mother's Day by purchasing this book. Well, listen, God bless you. I appreciate you taking time to listen to me today, and just know that we're all in this thing together. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and of power and of a sound mind. So let's show love towards each other. Let's show love towards our children. Let's show love towards ourselves. God bless you, and I will see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Let's talk about it on the Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show.
Bye-bye.